At our gender reveal, I noticed my husband wouldn't make eye contact. I thought he was nervous. After we cut the cake, he whispered, "Can we talk alone?" He took me behind the house and said, "I'm not sure if it's mine." My knees buckled. I said, "Then I guess you should have stayed faithful before you started doing the math." I walked out holding my belly and announced, "The father has left the building. I'm 31 and live in Hendersonville, North Carolina." Not a big town, but not small enough to hide anything for long. I married Nate when I was 26. We were together for about 4 years before we tied the knot. I thought we were a good match. He wasn't flashy or loud, but dependable. Solid. He worked as a building inspector for the county. Quiet job, quiet guy. I work at the middle school front office. It's not exciting, but it's steady. We tried to get pregnant for almost a year. It took a toll on us. I had a miscarriage in March of last year, and it almost broke me. Nate was supportive, though maybe a little emotionally distant. I chalked it up to him not knowing how to process grief. But when I got pregnant again in November, it felt like hope. Like maybe we were going to be okay. The idea to do a gender reveal came from my sister Ally. She's younger, but always the planner. She offered to bake the cake and handle everything. I didn't want a big deal at first, but Nate's parents were excited, and Ally kept pushing, so I gave in. We had the party at my parents' place. They've got a big backyard and a big oak tree that's perfect for hanging decorations. Ally went all out, balloons, confetti, cupcakes with little plastic babies on top. The cake was frosted white, hiding the color inside. Only she knew the gender. People started arriving around 2 in the afternoon. It was a warm day for April, sunny and breezy. Friends from church came. My coworkers. Nate's friends from his softball league. Even his boss and his wife showed up. My mom had made lemonade and deviled eggs. It felt like a family reunion. But Nate was off. I noticed it early, but kept brushing it off. He wasn't smiling. Wasn't mingling. Just sort of drifting around like he didn't want to be there. I kept trying to joke with him, nudge him, ask if he was feeling sick. He'd just say, "I'm fine." But he wouldn't look me in the eye. At all. Still, when it was time to cut the cake, I pushed it down and tried to enjoy the moment. Everyone gathered around us, phones out, cheering. I held Nate's hand and we cut through the middle. Pink. The whole inside was pink. The frosting, the filling. The crowd cheered. My mom gasped and covered her mouth. "It's a girl," someone yelled. My eyes filled up. I turned to Nate, expecting to see him crying or smiling or something. He just stared at the cake like it was something rotting in the sun. Then he leaned in and whispered in my ear, "Can we talk alone?" I looked at him, confused. What? He gave me a tight smile and nodded toward the side of the house. Just for a second. I followed him. Everyone was still laughing and taking pictures. I remember my sister snapping a selfie with the cake right as I walked away. We stepped around the house, out of sight. He led me toward the shed. No one could see us there. He took a breath and said it, just like this, "I'm not sure if it's mine." At first I thought I misheard him. My heart thudded so loud I swear I could hear it in my ears. "What the hell are you talking about?" I asked. He looked at the ground. Wouldn't meet my eyes. "I've been doing the math," he said. "It just doesn't add up. You got pregnant too fast after your last period." I stared at him, completely frozen. This man, my husband, who held my hand at every doctor appointment, who kissed my belly at night, was now standing here, accusing me of cheating. I wasn't even mad at first. Just shocked. Hurt. It felt like he reached into my chest and yanked something out. Then it hit me. He wasn't suspicious. He was projecting. He was trying to make me look guilty, because he had something to hide. I said, loud enough for him to flinch. Then I guess you should have stayed faithful before you started doing the math. That shut him up. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. He looked like he wanted to say something but didn't know how. I didn't wait. I turned around, walked straight back to the yard, right past the picnic tables and the balloons and the folding chairs. Everyone was still smiling, holding cake plates, still in their happy bubble. I walked up to the middle of the yard and said, clear and loud, the father has left the building. Silence. Dead silence. Then my mom dropped her fork. Someone gasped. I saw Nate's best friend turn and look at him, then at me. I didn't say anything else. Just walked out, got in my car, and drove to Ally's apartment. She showed up 20 minutes later with her car full of leftover cake and decorations. She asked me what happened, and I told her everything. That was 4 weeks ago. Since then, I've learned things. I found things on Nate's phone, on our shared computer. There are messages. Photos. Receipts. One of them is someone I know. Someone who was at the party. This isn't just a story about what happened at a gender reveal. This is the beginning of the war that man started when he decided to cheat and then blame me for his guilt. And I've only just started fighting back. I stayed at Ally's that night. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat on her couch with my hand on my stomach, staring at the blank TV screen. I didn't sleep. Around 3 a.m., Ally woke up and brought me tea. I didn't drink it. By morning, my phone was full of missed calls and texts. Most were from Nate. Some were from his mom. One from his friend Jordan, asking, "What the hell happened yesterday?" I didn't answer any of them. I logged into our joint phone account and looked at Nate's call logs. Nothing stood out, until I saw one number that kept showing up. Late at night. Lunchtime. Sunday mornings. Always the same number. I saved it. Then I went to our computer in the spare room at home while Nate was at work. I knew the password. I checked the browser history, even the deleted stuff. He didn't even try to hide it. There were searches for hotel rooms. Cash App transactions to someone labeled L. I opened our shared photos folder. There were hidden files. Not deep, not encrypted, just in a folder named Invoices. I clicked it. There were photos. Screenshots of messages. A few selfies that weren't mine. And one picture, taken in the parking lot behind his office, that nearly made me throw up. It was him. With her. A woman I recognized. Not just from town. But from church. Her name is Lisa. She's married. Has 2 kids. Her youngest goes to the school where I work. She volunteers at the bake sale every spring. She was at our gender reveal. She hugged me. Brought a gift bag with tiny pink socks and a note that said, "Can't wait to meet your little princess." I sat down hard on the floor. I wasn't even crying. I was shaking. I printed out everything. All the screenshots. I even saved the photo onto a USB drive. That evening, Nate came home. He looked rough. Pale, dark circles, like he hadn't slept either. He tried to act casual. "Hey. I think we need to talk." I stood up. "We already did." He looked confused. "I just want to explain." "Explain what?" "That you were screwing a woman from church while we were trying to get pregnant?" He went white. I had never seen a man deflate like that. How do you?" I held up the folder. "Invoices," I said. "Cute." He stepped forward. "Listen, I didn't mean for it to happen. I was going through a rough time after the miscarriage and, don't," I said. "Don't you dare use my grief as your excuse." He shut up. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just walked to the door and opened it. "You can go now," I said. I'll have your things packed by tomorrow. He didn't move. Nate, I said, pointing, go. He left. The next morning, I dropped an envelope off at Lisa's husband's office. Inside were all the photos. All the screenshots. I didn't include a note. I didn't have to. That same day, I met with a divorce lawyer. The baby is mine. She's growing strong. She doesn't need a father who lies, cheats, and gaslights. But this story isn't over. Because Nate's lies? They go deeper. And Lisa? She's not the only one. I thought Lisa was the end of it. I was wrong. About a week after the envelope drop, I got a message on Facebook. It was from someone I hadn't seen in years. Mandy, an old co-worker of Nate's from when he worked construction before becoming an inspector. We were never close. She left the company years ago. Her message was short. I don't mean to stir the pot, but I saw what happened at your gender reveal. I think you should know, Lisa wasn't the first. My stomach dropped. I asked what she meant. She replied almost instantly. Said Nate had a reputation on job sites. That there were rumors. Nothing ever confirmed, but he was too friendly with a subcontractor named Tasha back in 2021. Then another woman, Jessica, who used to handle permits at the county office. I asked if she had proof. She said no, but Jessica might. I found Jessica on LinkedIn. We had mutuals. I sent a message, not expecting much. Just asked if she remembered Nate, and if they ever worked together. She replied the same day. She said, yeah. We used to go out for drinks a few times after work. I asked, as friends? She didn't answer for a few hours. Then I got a long message. She said it started casual. A few drinks after long permit meetings. One night, he kissed her in the parking lot. She pulled away, but he kept messaging her. Told her he was unhappy in his marriage. That things were complicated. She didn't know I was pregnant at the time. She backed off when she found out he was married. I thanked her. She apologized. I didn't know what to do with it all. Every time I thought I had the full picture, another piece dropped in. Every time I thought I couldn't feel worse, I did. The worst part? My in-laws were still reaching out. His mom texted me to say I was being dramatic. That I was ruining his life over one mistake. One mistake? I texted back a screenshot of him kissing Lisa, along with the messages from Jessica. She didn't reply. The day after that, Nate showed up at my parents' house. I was staying there for a while until the paperwork moved forward. He banged on the front door until my dad answered. I just want to talk to her, Nate said. Dad told him to leave. I deserve to explain. Nate shouted. I came to the door. He looked desperate. Sweaty. Eyes red like he hadn't slept in days. Please, he said. Just 5 minutes. I stepped outside, but didn't close the door behind me. What do you want? I made mistakes, he said. I know I messed up. But you're making this worse than it has to be. You're lucky I haven't burned your damn life down. He flinched. I lost my job. What? He looked down. Lisa's husband went to my boss. Told him everything. Said I was sleeping with contractors on company time. They suspended me, then let me go. I crossed my arms. So this is about your job now? No, I want to be part of her life, he said, glancing at my belly. You had that chance. He stepped forward. I'll take a paternity test. I'll do whatever you want. I laughed. You want to act like a father now? After accusing me at the party? After cheating on me for years? He didn't answer. I shook my head and walked back inside. But I didn't slam the door. I didn't scream. I was too focused on what came next. Because there's one more thing. Something I haven't told Nate yet. I'm not sure this baby is his. Not because I cheated. But because of something that happened during our separation last summer, after the miscarriage. When he moved out for 2 weeks and said he needed space. I met someone then. Just once. And I never thought it'd matter. But now? Everything matters. I didn't want to tell him at first. I didn't want to give him that power. But I also knew I couldn't keep it a secret forever. Especially not now that he was suddenly acting like he cared. Like he wanted to step up and be a father. So I scheduled the test. Not just for him, for me, too. I had to know. The week before the results came in, Nate texted me every day. Sometimes to ask how I was feeling. Sometimes to beg me to reconsider the divorce. And once, in a long message, he admitted to sleeping with at least 3 other women during our marriage, not counting Lisa. He said he was lonely. That I grew cold after the miscarriage. That he didn't know how to handle the pressure. It was always about him. He didn't mention the pain he caused me. He didn't apologize for accusing me at our gender reveal in front of our entire family. He didn't talk about all the nights I cried in our bed alone, thinking he was working late. He just wanted things to go back to the way they were. Then the test came back. And it said what I'd already begun to suspect. Nate was not the father. It hit hard. I didn't cheat, but technically, I wasn't clean either. During that 2-week split, when he walked out on me and ghosted me, I slept with someone I'd known from high school. His name was Corey. He was kind, divorced, and didn't ask questions. I told myself it was just a mistake. A one-time thing. But now that mistake had a heartbeat. My daughter. I thought about keeping it from Nate. Letting him believe it was his. Letting him carry the weight of what he'd done while raising a child that wasn't his. But I couldn't. Because I realized something. I didn't want him anywhere near my child. I invited him to meet me at a diner outside of town. Neutral ground. He showed up in jeans and a t-shirt, looking like a man trying to play casual, but failing. He sat down, looked at me across the table, and said, "So, what did the test say?" I looked him dead in the eye. "She's not yours." Silence. He didn't blink. Didn't flinch. "Who?" he finally asked. "Who is the father?" I shook my head. "Doesn't matter. It was during our split. You know. The one you asked for. While you were screwing half the county, I had one night I regret." He leaned back. "So you did cheat?" "No," I said. "I let go of a man who already left me, and I picked myself off the floor." "That's not cheating. That's surviving." He was quiet. Then he said something that made me laugh out loud. "Well, I still want to be in her life." I leaned across the table. "You're not her father. You never were." He got angry. "You can't keep me away from her." I was ready to be a father. I would have stepped up. "Yeah?" I said. "Like you stepped up for Jessica? Or Lisa? Or the girl from the county office? You don't even know what stepping up means." He stood up, knocked his coffee over, and stormed out. That was the last time I saw him in person. I filed for divorce and went after the house. The lawyer found proof that Nate used joint money to buy gifts for Lisa, jewelry, hotel rooms, dinners. I used that. I got full ownership of the house. I also filed for spousal support, even though I wasn't sure I'd take it. I just wanted to make sure his life didn't go back to normal so easily. And then I made one more move. I sent out birth announcements the day my daughter was born. No father listed. Just her name, her weight, her time of birth. And on the back? A photo of her tiny hand gripping mine. Below it, I wrote, "She doesn't need a man who lies. She has a mother who fights." I sent one to Nate's parents. One to Lisa's house. One to Jessica. Even one to Nate's old job, attention to the HR manager. That wasn't petty. That was closure. I made mistakes too. I stayed too long. I ignored the signs. And yeah, I had that one night, but I'll own mine. Because unlike Nate, I didn't lie about who I was. Now, I'm raising a little girl who will never have to wonder what respect looks like. Because I'll show her every single day. And Nate? He's the guy who lost everything, his wife, his job, his image. All because he thought he could cheat, lie, and still come out clean. He didn't. And he never will.